Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Yasmin Gomes. I'm the marketing specialist at OmniCloud. OmniCloud is the leading provider of ICT as a service. Today we are presenting a webinar on education and IT innovation by OmniCloud, presented by our very own Firas Hamdan, Head of Software and Cloud Solutions. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into your chat box to your right, and I will bring them up at the end of the presentation. And we will also have time for questions at the end. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Firas.
Hello everyone. My name is Firas Hamdan. I'm heading the software development team, software and cloud solution at OmniClouds. At OmniClouds, we have some exciting solutions for SD-WAN, for customized solutions, security, SASE, and everything. And we have some good package for the educational sector, both in terms of infrastructure and software solutions. Okay, so I will split this webinar into two sections. The first section, we will be talking about the network and infrastructure solutions, which is mainly the majority of this webinar. And I will proceed to talk to software solutions. These two solutions are interlinked. It means like when we are providing a solution, we are providing it as a complete package. But it is possible to split them here into networking and infrastructure and applications on top of those networking and infrastructure. Okay, so I will start by the new trends in educational sector. Those new trends, some of them has been there already since many years. Some of them were accelerated by the new rules on pandemic. We've seen many schools who have been for a long time using classical methods of education and using classical approaches has started using new modern trends, new modern solutions for education. It was accelerated again by the pandemic, however, those trends has been there already. We've seen them with many schools and universities. One note here, whenever I'm saying school or student or teacher, it's the same thing. I'm saying university students or professor. Those solutions apply basically to all levels of education, from kindergarten to graduating from college. Okay, because the problems here are the same, whether we're dealing with students, young students, or adults. Okay, so now go back, please. All right, so for the cloud adoption, one of the trends we're seeing already is cloud. When I was at school, there were no systems at all. After a period, we've seen schools using internal systems, using systems at school, installed at the local school network. And then I've been providing consultancies for different schools. At a later stage, we've seen schools using their own network infrastructure. Even for schools that are a big network of schools, they are using their own network infrastructure, using technologies like VPN. However, the whole solutions from software to networking was an internal solution. And then came, of course, the cloud. And people started migrating solutions to the cloud. Now, schools and universities, like most of businesses nowadays, their solutions are spread between things that are on the cloud and classical software or even new software that are on-premise using classical network. So, however, cloud is being more and more adopted, and with cloud comes challenges of how to use the cloud. Okay, because at its face, cloud is meant to simplify things. However, if we're not ready from an infrastructure point of view, this may create some burdens, and that I will be talking about in the next presentation, and a few later in this section. Okay, and another thing, a challenge or trend we've seen in schools is that school and especially school networks, they are not autonomous anymore. We've seen this trend of having unified curriculums across multiple school networks, and we've seen schools having connected systems across multiple campuses, multiple branches, different networks. Those pose, again, more challenges on the network. And recently accelerated is the roaming users. Students working, studying from home, teachers giving sessions from home. Everything is happening nowadays. We've seen this need of students studying and doing their exams, doing their studies at home. So the roaming users that we've seen in other industries, accelerated in other industries before the pandemic, in education, we thought that it's going to take a long time for educational sector to adopt it. The silver lining of this pandemic is that it pushed schools to start using those systems. And now schools, even hopefully after this pandemic is over, schools will have the options to work from home or to study from home or to study on premise. The culture shift has changed. Okay, next session. Okay, so in order to go with these trends and follow these trends, there is challenges of the current, or not the current, the classical centralized networking model. Okay, when we're talking about those challenges, the most important ones can be grouped into cost, stability, security, and provisioning. I will go with each one of these. High cost. In the previous slide, I talked about the movement to the cloud, or the trend to use the cloud. Cloud means we are using cloud now for our office, for our collaboration, for example, Teams or Zoom, video conferencing. We're using it for centralized educational content at schools. So this comes with high cost. The classical network, as it uses things, for example, like MPLS connectivity or things like VPN connectivity. It's inherently high cost. This network infrastructure, it is meant for more in-premise and centralized solutions. So this high cost. So this is one of the challenges of classical network is the high cost. Okay. The other challenge we have is stability. And when, for example, have one centralized classical network, for example, the user's consumption of certain resources online can affect the more real-time. For example, a classroom. We have a classroom happening real-time, and then people are using different parts of the network, and the network is stagnated, and then we have a stability issue. So using classical network. Now, how can we fix, using newer technology, we should be able to fix this stability problem. Security as well. When we are having users working from home, we're having people spread across the organization, from branches to school campuses, and studying and teaching from home. We have a new security challenge that we need to fix. And of course, provisioning. It's the help for networking administrator, how we can fix provisioning. We are talking about lots of devices, and we need to provision security and configure security across across the whole, let's say, wide network of users. Okay, so the solution will for all these challenges come under the umbrella of SD-WAN. Okay, so SD-WAN for the cost, it allows us to cut the cost by removing the reliance on classical expensive MPLS or lease line, and use more or costly solutions for the network like 4G and broadband connectivity, while maintaining security and stability. Okay, and for stability, for example, using SD-WAN solutions, we can prioritize and optimize connections. Okay, and by defining routes and by defining policies, okay, to enable stability and security, and by provisioning, because in SD-WAN solutions we have a centralized orchestration of devices. We are able to push and implement configuration across lots of devices much easier than the classical approach. Next. For security, using an SD-WAN and an SD-WAN solution, the security would be more identity centric. It means it is dependent on the user identity rather than devices. So we can configure identity by user and across multiple devices, and we can enable security across lots of devices on remote devices. Okay, consistent policies across different users. Okay, and an easier threat protections. Okay, and policies. Next. Okay, this is for the networking solution. For the software solutions, now we have the need for software solutions. Schools has been using software solutions classical software solutions, for example, for school management system. And then with the advancement of cloud and the need for remote user, they started using solutions like, for example, Google Classroom. They're starting to use different products. Now, the challenges that are faced by these schools are the integration of these solutions. Schools are using different software. Even sometimes, if we've seen schools, each teacher is using a different software than the rest of the schools. So we need a more cloud-based integrated solution for the many software is needed, and it has to be integrated with the infrastructure. So our solution with our partners, it allows us to have different aspects of school management and education. For example, in classroom and school management itself, at the macro level, whether we are talking about ministry level or network levels of school, we're talking about, and if we're doing at the school level, we have virtual classrooms for schools, for teachers, for students, content creation of school materials, communication tools, okay, and performance rewards, and etc. So all of these solutions, whether again implemented at the macro level or at the student level, for example, we have a full solution if for the students in terms of software itself, the virtual classroom, and the security at the device level. Okay, this is in summary what we're doing here at OmniClouds. Please, here I have our vice presidents for networking. Vido is with me in case we have any hard technical questions. He's here for any questions, and if you have anything, please go ahead and ask. Thank you very much.
So Firas, we have one question coming in. What software solutions do you suggest which are best to and easy to integrate?
Provide a full package in terms of networking and software. ITWorks, they have all the school management solution, they have all the virtual solutions, and a complete solution. That's the whole idea. And they bring different solutions together. They integrate different solutions in one and provide you with one solution. We have already worked with them in big projects, and this is currently our suggestion for a full software for education.
Okay, we have one more question. What are the success cases OmniCloud has so far in the educational sector?
OmniClouds is implementing the SD-WAN infrastructure and the SASE infrastructure for Ministry of Education in Egypt. That's a very big project involving thousands of schools. And this is one huge customer. And we have another big customers in Yemen coming soon, a similar one, and in Djibouti. So these are three countries we're implementing solutions at macro level. We're not talking here about one school or two schools, we're talking about thousands of schools. And it includes infrastructure solution, content solution, and school management, including security and everything, and identity management.
Okay, thank you so much, Firas. So when you say Yemen, you're saying Yemen, we're talking about the country or it's a school?
We're talking about one governorate of Yemen, one of the stable governorates. Hopefully, all Yemen will be more stable. So it's one of the stable governorate we're implementing, which is a good thing. Like talking, people think of Yemen as war, but here at OmniClouds, we think of it as something we can implement an advanced solution for students there.
Okay, thank you so much, Firas. Ruth, thank you so much for your question. I will get back to you at the end of the session. We have your email with us. So, Firas, can you give us more information, please, about MOE Egypt? Some details is okay to share with the general public.
Okay, I will try it as much as possible to. So basically, in MOE Egypt, we have OmniClouds, our branch at OmniClouds. We have a full operation of implementing SD-WAN solution in Egypt. We have the full. If you're talking about technically from a networking point of view, we have the full orchestration layer. We have the full networking infrastructure. And the operation, we are sending schools devices to enhance their security, their performance, their stability across all governorates in Egypt. And we are integrating them with the current solutions that the Ministry of Education have. Of course, the Ministry of Education in Egypt has been implementing solutions since years. So our solution comes, and part of it is to integrate with them. So
yeah, thank you, Firas. And one more important point for MOE Egypt was because of the pandemic situation, and students were about to write the exams, and they were not able to, join the school or come to school to write the exam. So that was a big panic situation, and because of our solution, we have this mobile site kind of solution where people, they implemented the mobile site with our solution, so students can come into the mobile site and write the exams. No need to come to the school or any college to write the exam. So this is one of the best use case because of the pandemic situation, and to avoid any major disasters. So this was sorting out this kind of issues.
Thank you so much, Vidu, for your insight. Obviously, None of the parents wanted their kids to lose out on a year during an academic year. They feel that it will bring everybody back. Actually, parents are way much more happier when a student skips a year, right? They feel they have earned one more year for their future.
Yeah, sorry. One more point, just I remembered. There were situations where students were out of the country because they went for a vacation or they got stuck because of traveling flight ban in most of the countries. So we had a solution of SASE, which is the remote access solution. Wherever the students were, they were able to connect to their own exam online centers, and they're able to write the exams remotely, not even being in the country. So this added a lot of value because they don't need to travel and they can sit in their own country or maybe wherever they are, and they were able to complete their exam successfully. So this is just this is one of the biggest use case you can see.
So that's wonderful. So Omni Clouds really could help the educational sector in many different ways for students, both available locally within the country and internationally. Ruth has given us another question. Do you think schools are investing enough in producing quality content for their students? I'm not sure if we are in a position to literally comment on that. It depends on which country they are, what board they are on. But what do you?
Let me give an answer to that.
Sure.
Basically, the problem is schools. If we're talking about small schools or medium schools, they don't even have enough resources to produce this content. And for example, at Omni Clouds, we bring content providers, companies that are specialized in producing content. Especially, for example, in our region, we have problem in Arabic content. We have if we're talking English content, it's available because English, it's English language international. You have international provider. However, providing content in local languages has been more of a challenge. So we bring external content providers as well, and they can provide these content solution on behalf of the schools. But at the school level, I don't think they have the resources to produce high content for education. Thank you.
Also, Ruth says, what are the challenges involved in integrating some of these technologies into education? Anything you would like to highlight? One specific thing for educational sector?
Okay. So that's a good question. If you see, people are moving from the digital traditional network to the digital network, right? So when I say digital network, it's more into cloud and cloud kind of infrastructure. So the best part, you can't say it's a challenge. It was more easier as to integrate was most of the content which is available now. It's almost in the cloud. So since we are a cloud provider as well, meaning we have a cloud connectivity as a vendor, so we can easily get integrated to any of the content provider in any region, but not region specific because they're all available in the cloud now because everyone is moving towards cloud. So for us as an SD-WAN provider, as a cloud provider, it was very easy and flexible to get integrated with any of the content providers or any education vendors across the globe. So this is one of the advantage we had. You can't say, of course, when it is a traditional network, there was challenges to integrate, but right now most of the content providers are cloud enabled. That's
Thank you very much, Vidu. For anybody who wants to see our IT expert, you can check us out on YouTube. He has already his own webinar, and we had a wonderful article for cybersecurity. You can see it on our resource page on our website. Obviously, he's our expert here for IT, and without him, a lot of these processes would not have been possible. Thank you so much, Ruth. We totally appreciate your participation with us. So we have one last question we will take. We obviously have to leave our heads of department to go about and make some cash for us and help us to reach our profit margins. So one question we have is SD-WAN vs SASE, which is best for the educational sector. Sorry.
okay. So it's a good question, but to answer you, SD-WAN is actually SASE is actually a subset of SD-WAN. Okay, so meaning So SASE just launched, you can say, just few months back, or maybe 8 10 months back. So SD-WAN generated or evaluated maybe 8 years back, right? So SD-WAN is there from the beginning of 2013 or 14, but SASE just launched, you can say, from the pandemic started, right? Because SASE is again moved out of, evaluated from the traditional VPN. It came out as a SASE, which is a secure VPN channel. So SASE is again part of the SD-WAN, if you ask me, right? So it's not, you can't compare SD-WAN versus SASE. SASE is part of the SD-WAN. So it has to be go together. So if you want to implement SASE, it has to be having an SD-WAN solution to implement the SASE. Okay. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vidu. Thank you, Firas. Would you like to have a last word before we close this session? Thank you so much for your time and contribution.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful session. I think Firaz explained almost all the technology part, and we are happy to receive all your queries in email, or you can directly even contact us in all the mediums, and we are there to support you guys. Thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. As you can see, OmniClouds is a very collaborative company. Our heads like to work with each other. Thank you both for your time. Sure, Mr. Bambidelli, you will get an email with a copy of the recorded webinar. Thank you so much, everybody, for your participation. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. We'll just end the event. Thank you, Firas. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vidu.
Thank you.